Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Prashasti Arora and today we'll be discussing the important news articles and editorials for today. Now we know that this becomes very important in the context of the examination. This will help you fine tune your preparations and in a very short span help you understand what is relevant in the news that we read, and we'll also develop a knack as to how we read the newspaper. Right now, before we go ahead with the contents and the subject matter, please go and see the free classes, the free special series that is by Abhishek Saraf, who's all India rank 8 in UPSC's CSE 2019. We understand that this preparation, this journey of UPSC is very difficult, but we have the kind of guidance that the aspirants require. We know where the aspirants struggle, so see these classes and fine tune your preparation and understand where your preparation needs to be more strengthened. Right now, before I go further, another very important thing to help you streamline and fine tune your preparation is the Unacademy Aspire. Now, what exactly is this? This is basically an all India free mock test. ये बिल्कुल बिल्कुल free है. आपको कहीं जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. You can sit and give the test on 10th and 25th of every month and see where you are in your preparation, understand where your strengths lie and where you're actually lacking, right? So this is going to help you fine tune your preparation. I hope that you all will go and enroll in it after this video. Right now, today we'll be discussing topics ranging from ICMR's nod to the low cost COVID 19 testing device, to air pollution, to digital payments, to the travel bubble that has recently been seen in the news, to Maharashtra withdrawing consent, to CBI, and lastly, we'll also talk about the 2+2 dialogue, which is very important in today's context. Right now, what we need to understand here is that the Indian Council for Medical Research has approved CoviRap, which is a COVID 19 testing device developed by IIT Kharagpur, which is, of course, in West Bengal. So, do remember that. Right now, this particular machine comes with a box and a kit. Right, the kit has three master mixes, which are markers of different genes to confirm the virus. Right now, how does this exactly work? Now, RNA samples are extracted from the nasal swabs and are mixed with a master mix in a test tube. Even the SARS-CoV-2 virus has an RNA, right? इतना तो अब हमने साइंस पढ़ ही लिए है कोविड 19 के बारे में to understand the gist of this, right? Now, these tubes are then put into a machine and heated at a prefixed temperature for a specified period of time. Okay? Now, once this heating is over, it is mixed with another solution and is heated once again. Now, a paper strip is then inserted into the solution. If the virus is there, it is confirmed when colored lines appear on the paper strip. The results are available within an hour and it is said to be more or less accurate. So we see that this new low-cost COVID-19 testing device called CoviRap is something that is being under trials to see how effective and how efficient it is to test coronavirus. So yes, let's see how this pans out, right? Now, what exactly is RNA, right? Now, ribonucleic acid is one of the four micromolecules essential for human life. हमें पता है ये बात. Like the DNA, right? It also contains genetic information of species, right? Unlike the DNA, which is double stranded, the RNA is single stranded. So this is very relevant in the context of the exam, right? Now, viruses have either DNA or RNA carrying their genetic information. Now, coronavirus, which causes COVID-19, is an RNA, right? So you have to remember that. Now, how do other COVID-19 टेस्ट वर्क? एक तो अभी हमने ये जो अभी ICMR ने नोट दिया उसके बारे में बात की. Now we'll be talking about rapid antibody test, which is very very prevalent during these times, which is being used the most. Now, firstly, when the body has been attacked by an antigen such as a bacteria or virus, the white blood cells, right, known to be part of the immunity system of the body, produce certain antibodies known as immunoglobulins, right, which and immunoglobulins, right, these antibodies bind to the antigen and destroy them, right. Now क्या होता है? Now in the rapid antibody test, the blood, semen, plasma tests are carried out, right? If antibodies are attached to the antigens, there will be a colored reaction to the testing strip and the patient is deemed to be positive, right? Now, what are the disadvantages of this? Firstly, it is its accuracy is a question mark. We still don't know how accurate this test is, right? And also this IgB, which is immunoglobulins B, is takes time to form and it stays longer in the samples. Now suppose if I have a common cold 3 months back and now I'm getting tested for COVID-19. IgB will be found in my samples. Does it mean that I have COVID-19? Right? So this is a very very big disadvantage of this. Now we'll talk about RT-PCR test that has been in the news, right? Now reverse transcription कहते हैं इसे. Now what exactly is this? A nasal swab is extracted. The RNA from the swab is extracted and isolated, right? Then using some enzymes that is converted to DNA. This DNA is then inserted into the RT-PCR machine, which makes thousands of copies of this material. Right? Now, a microbiologist then carefully extracts the DNA of the coronavirus and inserts it into the machine. Okay? If the patient's DNA has the virus already, the DNA of the coronavirus will be bind together and there will be a glow of the machine which will then confirm the presence of the virus. Now, we know that the official name of coronavirus is SARS-CoV-2, है ना. सो इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अगर हम इसको मतलब अंडरस्टैंड करें तो इफ द पेशेंट्स डीएनए हैज द वायरस ऑलरेडी, द डीएनए of SARS-CoV-2 will bind together and then there will be a glow of the machine which will then confirm the presence of the virus, है ना. Now we'll talk about COVID-RAP and RT-PCR test, right? The RT-PCR machine cost rupees 25 lakhs each, whereas this new testing machine only cost 5,000, right? So of course we see that it's very very cost effective, right? Now the COVID-RAP test kits cost only rupees 500 and RT-PCR test take 90 as compared to this new test which takes only 45 minutes, right? Now, some related information also is that ICMR is a top medical research body in the country. It works under the Department of Health Research, right? Under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and it is presently headed by the Professor Balram Bhargava. So this is some related information. And IIT Kharagpur is also the National Coordinating Institute to implement the SPARC scheme, which is scheme for promotion of academic and research collaboration, which aims to improve the academia industry connect, one of the challenges in innovation in India, right? So this in a nutshell was about the test and about this low cost testing device that we have recently discovered. Now we know that air pollution is the next big health risk, which has now also been confirmed by a report. US based Health Effects Institute has said that air pollution has emerged as the largest killer in recent times in India. In 2019, it is estimated that over 1.67 million people in India exposed to outdoor and indoor pollution died due to complications from diabetes, stroke, and other comorbidities. Right? Also, over these many children died in their first very month of existence due to prolonged exposure of PM 2.5 particulates caused due to household air pollution and outdoor air pollution, right? So you see the number that is very, very alarming, right? Exposure to these pollutants also causes increased blood pressure, stress, irritation, and reduces the cognitive abilities of children. Now, we know what cognitive abilities are, ranging from memory, learning, sensation, perception. All of that is our cognitive abilities. And if they are impacted, our whole productivity, functionality, everything is impacted. So, this is the psychological impact of air pollution, right? Now, exposure to these pollutants also causes yeah. Now, the present crisis in Delhi NCR is an example of government failure to give people the basic right to live with clean air. Now, we know that Supreme Court held it as a fundamental right under Article 21. So, I think this we really need to address the problem of air pollution. In fact, since last few years we've been discussing this, but we have not come up with a proper plan of action. There were talks of air purifiers in various places, but the kind of implementation that is supposed to happen needs to be done on a bigger scale, right? Now, appeasement of the farming communities has led to global embarrassment and enhanced pollution over the Indo-Gangetic plains, right? This is in context of the stubble burning, right? Now, apart from stubble burning, which reflects negative agricultural residue management, the other causes of pollution in the Indo-Gangetic plains include vehicular pollutions, emissions, thermal power plants, for example, the Dadri power plant, industrial pollution, dust particles due to construction, and the movement of particles from the Mediterranean region. So, all of these factors lead to the air pollution, which becomes a larger and a bigger health risk in India. Right now, some government schemes that have been implemented to mitigate the issue is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, wherein the gas that is used for cooking is very, very harmful and leads to indoor air pollution, for which this scheme has been implemented, right? And suffer is basically by Ministry of Earth Science, which tracks the pollution levels, right? And National Electric Mobility Mission plan, which is by Department of Heavy Industries, Union Ministry of Heavy Industries and the Public Enterprises, which promotes electric vehicles, and especially with the FAME scheme coming in, which promotes uh, the use of electric vehicles than petrol and diesel, right? So yes, air pollution. We need to be prepared for this. We need to understand the kind of repercussions it has in the short term and the long run, how much it affects the children and the vulnerable sections of the society, like the senior citizens and the people who do not have access to proper cooking facilities or otherwise, right? So this is a major issue. Now we'll be talking about the potholes on the digital payment superhighway, right? Now, what happened is that following the demonetization and the recent ongoing coronavirus pandemic, the RBI said that the digital payments in the country have grown by 61% and 19% in terms of volume and value, respectively. Now, the National Payment Corporation of India was launched in 2009 to boost the digital payment system in India. It is not for profit organization and it is registered under Section 25 of the Indian Companies Act, which is owned by certain public sector companies, right? Now it is supported by the RBI. It has been launched under the Payment and Settlement System 2007. So this is something that you have to remember here, right? Now the NPCI, which is National Payment Corporation of India, has launched the UPI, which we know is the Unified Payment Interface, राइट वी नो बहुत बार क्वेश्चन आया है प्रीलिम्स प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस अगर आप उठा के देखेंगे सो यू नो दैट अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस कम फ्रॉम डेटा फ्रॉम यू नो द न्यू technologies that are coming up, especially the UPI, Unified Payment Interface. So please do read all of this in detail, right? and a user gets an ID and can use this to make digital payments, including QR scans. We know what QR scans are, quick response scans, right? It has been launched in 2016, right? Now, the debit card too has been launched by NPCI. It has now been adopted in foreign nations too. In fact, UAE, Bahrain, Bhutan, Japan are few nations that have adopted it. So just take a second to read this. And also, NPCI launched the Bharat Bill Payment System, Bharat Interface for Money, which is BHIM. हम ये बहुत यूज़ करते हैं, हमें पता है ये. Then Bharat Quick Response Code Solution, right? Now NEFT, IMPS, RTGS are some of the digital payment mechanisms provided by Indian banks, right? Now, what are the issues and challenges of this particular payment system that we are talking about? Firstly, faulty internet connection. Despite the fact that over 700 million Indians use internet, the internet connectivity is faulty in many places across the country depending on the network coverage area, right? The National Sample Survey Organization, which is the NSSO, found that only 6% of rural India is digitally literate, right? So this number is very, 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 very awakening as to how much we still need to penetrate into the rural India and the villages that we so to speak, right? Now this provides to be a hindrance to adoption of digital payments in India, right? And another very, very important problem challenge that we face here is the data protection. We still do not have a concrete data protection law, which makes us even more vulnerable, right? Now, a levy of merchant discount rates is also very, very, a big challenge for us. The rate paid by business. So, what is it exactly? The rate paid by business establishments to the banks to use their digital payment systems. For example, using the Mastercard or the Visa card, right? Now, the Union Budget of 2020 abolished the merchant discount rates on all NPCI transacted systems, right? However, banks are now shifting away from RuPay and are issuing only MasterCard and Visa, right? Now, some government schemes that are under this is Payment Infrastructure Development Scheme to develop point of sales machines launched by RBI, and we have Digi Dhan Abhiyan by MAT, right? Now, this is something that is very, very important. Ministry of Civil Aviation has finalized an air bubble agreement with Germany. Now, India has established air corridor agreements with Maldives, Afghanistan, Germany, Bangladesh, Canada, UAE, Qatar, US, UK, amongst others. India is presently negotiating more such agreements with Singapore and other nations. Now, how exactly does this air bubble work? Nations had previously banned international travel following the COVID 19 pandemic, right? India had suspended its international air travel from March 21st, with the national lockdown in place, right? However, this resulted in Indian nationals getting stranded abroad and foreign nationals getting stranded here in India. Many Indian nationals too lost their job following the economic slump, right? Now, to facilitate their return to India and to permit Indians who have to return to foreign nations, the government is negotiating air bubble agreements with nations. Many nations still have quarantine norms for foreign visitors visiting their nation. To do away with these quarantine norms and enable free movement of individuals, nations establish air bubble networks with other nations, right? Now, the Union Ministry of Home Affairs has mandated that those traveling abroad will have to carry a negative COVID 19 report conducted by RT-PCR method 48 hours before flying. ठीक है, तो ये हो गया in a nutshell air bubble के बारे में. However, one major criticism is that, as far as India is concerned, is that many of these nations do not do away with quarantine period, thus defeating the very purpose of these agreements, right? So this is a major challenge. Now, Maharashtra has to withdraw general consent to CBI. तो हम समझते हैं कंसेंट का क्या एग्जैक्टली रिगार्ड है, राइट? what is exactly this? Now, Maharashtra has withdrawn the general consent given to CBI. It has been done away under the provisions of Section 6 of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. Right? You have to remember this. Section 6 of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. There are two types of consent given to CBI. First is general consent, and the second one is specific consent. Right? Now, the CBI has a jurisdiction to investigate matters related to central government employees and other crimes handed over it. Right? Handed over to it. As far as matters related to central government employees in the states are concerned, the state normally entrusts the CBI with a general consent, or else every case is investigated will have to be approved by the state government. Right now, as far as specific consent is concerned, the state government can hand over any other proof to the CBI to investigate. UP recently handed over to the CBI to investigate the Hathis killing and the TRP scam. Right now, the High Courts and Supreme Courts too can hand over cases to the CBI, right? Now, this we know has been the practice in the past, right? Now, that this general consent has been withdrawn, the CBI will be unable to register and investigate cases against individuals and organizations stationed in Maharashtra. Now, previously, West Bengal and Andhra Pradesh had also withdrawn their general consent to the CBI, right? So, these institutions are important to understand the transparency of the system, and in that regard this is very important, right? Now, the last article that we'll be doing for today is that Pompeo aspired to travel to India for a 2+2 dialogue. Now, US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and US Secretary of Defense Mark Esper will be visiting India to participate in the Indo-US Strategic 2+2 dialogue mechanism. They will be meeting their counterparts Dr. S. Jaishankar and Rajnath Singh. Issues related to mutual interests, Chinese aggression, and other global developments will be discussed. Both countries have a vibrant strategic and defense relationship. We know that, right? It was only in February 2020 when the two nations signed the Comprehensive Global Partnership Agreement during the US President Donald Trump's visit to India, right? This is the third such dialogue between the two nations in this format. ठीक है, तो हमें ये याद रखना है कि ये थर्ड सच डायलॉग है. ठीक है, उसके बाद हम let's get to the detail of this. What exactly is the 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism? It is a dialogue mechanism between the foreign and defense ministers of two nations in the Indian context. India has 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism at the ministerial level with Japan, US and Australia. ठीक है, तो हमें ये याद रखना है. ठीक है. Now, with Australia, it was previously held at the secretarial level. Now it has been upgraded to the ministerial level following the signing of the Strategic Partnership Agreement between the two nations in June 2020. So, this was in a nutshell about today's important news articles and editorials. I hope you enjoy my videos and understand the gist that I'm trying to give, and these facts will help you enhance your answers, right? Now, before I sign out, before I leave you guys, remember that the price hike alert the price hike that was supposed to happen on 20th October has been extended to 24th of October. So if you have still not taken the subscription, the UPSC CSE Plus subscription, go right now and beat the price hike so that you do not have to pay extra, right? So do that. You have very, very less time left. So if you've been sitting over it, do it right away, right? And before I sign out, the last thing that I want to tell you is that if you get this subscription, you will have a range of benefits starting from unlimited access to all courses, live learning from the comfort of your home, to exhaustive coverage of the syllabus, to regular doubt clearing sessions, to live test series, to answer writing sessions. Basically, it's a whole package. So do get the subscription now. Thank you. That's it from my side.